10 years ago, I was married. I had a 3-year-old. I was a hairstylist. I worked full-time. We had a wonderful life. My marriage was rocky at that time, and it led to divorce, and I was so heartbroken. Our marriage wasn't too happy, and there was a time where I got pregnant again after I had Trinity, and I was very selfish, and I didn't want to have another baby with him. It was really hard with just the 3 of us, and I just didn't feel like I could handle that. And so I made the choice to go to the clinic. And to be very honest with you, it was a late-term abortion. It was a late-term clinic, and my husband didn't even take me. My father took me. After my divorce, I made some really bad decisions. Chose to start partying on the weekends when she was at her dad's because I didn't know what to do without her with me. And I was that closet mom that did drugs in her closet, you know what I mean? Like, none of my real friends partied or did any of that stuff, and so I just was hid alone in my closet and did what I did what I did. And then that eventually led to me losing my home. I got evicted. My daughter went to my babysitter, and my ex-husband went and scooped her up from the babysitter. And I went to my dad for help, and I remember he took my car keys away from me because he didn't think that I was well enough to drive, and he took my car away, and he went and dropped me off at a motel because he was pretty much done and washed his hands of me. He didn't want his daughter to be a drug addict. That was the start of my homeless experience, and then for 3.5 years I was out there, and I chose to be out there. It was really hard. I never thought that I would have ended up homeless. I had that picture perfect family that I never thought would be broken. I chose to use methamphetamines. That was my drug of choice. The first reason I started using it was because it gave me the energy to get all the stuff done. So I thought it gave me the energy to get all the stuff done. And it just masked the pain to where I didn't have to deal with the realities of being homeless, the realities of not having my daughter, of not having a place to live. It pretty much masked all of that stuff and made it bearable to survive. Things keep coming up in your life until you make the right decision, right? So it wasn't the first time I gotten pregnant. It wasn't the first time I'd been to the clinic. I had made that choice in my very early 20s before I was married, and so here this situation comes up again, and I get pregnant again, and I make another decision to go to the clinic, and this time it was a late term. And then for it to come back up again when I was homeless and to get pregnant, funny that when all the other options are off the table, when there's nothing else you can choose but to have a baby, and you're in no place to parent, but you can't go take care of it, as they say, God makes a way, and there's adoption. And that's where the miracle is. When I found out I was pregnant, I didn't accept the fact that I was pregnant. My little voice inside of my head kept telling me, you're gonna have a baby? But the reality of where I was I can't have a baby in this environment. And it wasn't until I was about 4 months along and I was showing that I finally accepted the fact that I was pregnant. And then I looked into going to the clinic, and it was too late. I didn't have the funds. I didn't have transportation. I didn't have the means to get to Dallas to do a late term abortion, and God told me, you're gonna have a baby, but you're not gonna parent that baby because you're in no place to parent. And I mean, who would want to have a baby when they're homeless? I was already had the chance to be a mom. I wanted my new baby to have a nursery and a home to come home to. I wanted to have a car to be able to take her where I needed to go, and a job to be able to provide for my kids. And I knew realistically in that experience that that wasn't going to happen. And so God laid it on my heart to open the phone book. Legacy happened to be the first place that answered the phone and said, you're going to be okay. And you were there, and you answered the phone, and you were on an airplane, and you said, I'll have Heidi come to you. She'll be there in 30 minutes. That was one of the best days of my life because I knew that God was going to take care of me. And that even though that I was in the depths of hell on earth, that He was still there to hold my hand. And I didn't accept it at the time, but I truly believe that God placed angels upon my life to guide me into the direction that I needed to go. Yeah. And it just keeps getting more miraculous and more miraculous and more miraculous. I just think back to where I was on that day, and it was one of the best days of my life at that time in that horrible darkness. I got to see light at the end of the tunnel, and I still would make really bad decisions for a while, even during my pregnancy, but God still loved me no matter what I was doing. And that love is what, I truly believe that love is what gave me a chance to turn my life around.